Was that as loud as advertised? It
Yes.
shocked me the first time. I'm glad we have an intro now. Like it's a lot smoother than us just saying, and we're live every single time. Um, anyway, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here today. Love your background. Thank you for joining us all the way on the other side of the world. Mo, can you tell us a little bit about who you are, where you are, and what you're here to talk about today?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Mo Mahubub. I'm a specialist solutions architect here at AWS, and my focus is on Microsoft workloads, but I also have a passion for anything FinOps. So today I'm here to talk to you about the newly released Cloud Intelligence Dashboard for Azure and all the wonders it might be able to bring you.
Amazing. So excited to see it. I know you've got a little demo for us today as well. Before we get too deep into that, I did want to just kind of set the stage a little bit and talk about kind of what the CID is, do a refresher, and talk a little bit about why people should be excited about this. So
Yeah,
can you
yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah. So a lot of our customers, in fact, thousands of customers, are now leveraging something called the Cloud Intelligence Dashboards. So the solution we're going to demo today is kind of underneath that banner. And really, they're doing that because they want to get a grasp on their costs, cost optimization, big topic. And it's why we're here today in the AWS Optimization channel. And it's all about trying to ensure that they're spending money in the right pockets, consistently keeping that well-architected pillar aligned to business requirements and their spend as well. So Cloud Intelligence Dashboards, there's quite a few of them, like the QDOS dashboard, you might have heard of that, the Cost Intelligence Dashboard, KPI Modernization Dashboard, etc. So they're all available already. We'll drop a link into the chat for you to have a look at the well-architected lab that includes them, and they're fantastically popular.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got, I'll pull up the little share you're doing there, but I know last year at reInvent, there were some of our best attended, best rated sessions. We've got a lot of folks across the like ecosystem externally and internally using them. We use a lot of similar mechanisms to look at our stuff internally to Amazon, and they've really been a game changer. I think one of the big things that's exciting to people about the cloud intelligence dashboards are really the pieces of transparency that they can bring in across things that we couldn't previously link. So with Cost Explorer, you're limited to kind of a one account per one payer account view, but with the CID, we can combine multiple payers and really get a look at the kind of broader estate. So Mo, the solution that you're going to show us today kind of takes that one step further, right?
It does, yeah, you're right. Because our customers are used to using those dashboards to gain those deeper level of insights past the cost management um, functionality within the AWS console. They want that similar kind of granular deep dive on other costs that they might have. And this is specifically focused on customers that have a multi-cloud architecture. So you might have guessed by the name that this particular dashboard focuses on Azure costs. So this is kind of a solution to allow customers to use similar similar BI toolset, QuickSight, to to look at their Azure costs in a similar vein as they do with the other cloud intelligence dashboards.
Absolutely. So I think within kind of the last couple of years, we've added on handling for trusted advisor, um, added on kind of more sophisticated pieces here and there within the CID framework. This feels like kind of the next logical step to giving folks that single pane of glass view into everything that they have on the cloud and on multiple clouds. So super excited to see it. I know you've got kind of some documentation about it. We've got a blog in the chat that I will link to, and we can drop it in the show notes after as well for anybody who wants to give it a read. But I did want to, before we go too far, let you share your screen and talk about kind of the architecture setup, because I think it's fairly intuitive for folks who are used to FinOps to think about how we can get AWS's CUR into QuickSight. But can you talk a little bit about kind of the architecture behind the solution, how it's different, and how folks can still kind of use that easy on, easy upload situation to get everything into that kind of environment that they're used to?
Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, so what we try to do is follow the same framework as the rest of the Cloud Intelligence dashboard. This is the blog post, which has been kindly posted into the chat. And if you scroll down here a bit, there is an architecture, there's a very kind of high level architecture diagram here, but showing you some of the services that are used. So a lot of these services you would, if you've installed the Cloud Intelligence dashboards, or if you've done any kind of data and analytics work in AWS, you'll recognize AWS Glue for ETL, Amazon Athena for querying, and Amazon QuickSight, obviously, for visualization. Some of the things that you might think, oh, okay, this is new, are the Lambda functions, for instance. So I think if I scroll down a little bit further, hopefully that's okay on the screen. I'll make that a bit bigger.
Just a little bigger. Ooh,
Yeah, let me pop over here. This is the workshop itself, but we have a solutions design section and a high level diagram, which I can make nice and big for you.
perfect.
Yeah, I won't go through this entire um, process flow. But the one thing that's different from the Cloud Intelligence dashboards is obviously that data has been generated somewhere else. It's generated in Azure. And if you follow the blog post and the workshop, we tell you how to set up Azure so that you export your costs daily to an Azure Blob storage account over here. And then these Lambda functions, which are kind of not in the other Cloud Intelligence dashboards, they pull the data across to AWS. And then it kind of goes through a similar pipeline to the other dashboards where we um, we store it in Amazon S3. We use Glue to transform the data. We convert CSV files to Parquet, for instance, and we apply some data field mappings, etc. And then we push it over to Athena for querying, and then QuickSight queries that Athena query and the underlying S3 data set. So I guess these Lambda functions are pretty cool, I have to say. It was developed by a good friend of mine who worked on this project alongside me, Chris Schoening, and they are amazingly fast. In fact, this has been released as a separate blog post in its entirety. If you just
Cool.
Google like how to copy data from Azure Blob Storage to Amazon S3, it's probably the top link now in Google. But yeah, it's like, you can transfer 122 gigs in 7.23 seconds or something like that. And
Wow.
we need that because these CSV files being produced by Azure on a daily basis, especially for large customers, the customers that are multi-cloud are normally quite large. They can grow quite big. They're like 13.5, 20 gigs a day. So we need to be able to pull those across super quick and then get them into a format that we can more efficiently store and query Parquet.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of our listeners are probably pretty familiar with the CUR at this point, and those files can get fairly chunky as well. um, we
Yeah,
do
that's a
have
good
a
point. That's a good point, actually,
Mhm.
because unlike the AWS data set, the Azure one is fairly small. There's only
Hmm,
68 data fields, 68 columns in the entire data set. So it's it's a little bit easier to query, I guess. But yeah,
interesting.
it can get quite big.
Awesome. We've got a question in the chat, and folks out there, if you do have any questions, please feel free to pop them in. So, why would customers want to use this over the Azure Cost Management Portal? I think we talked a little bit about kind of having a single pane of glass view,
Yeah.
but this might be a good segue into taking a look at what it looks like. Is there any other kind of big win there for you, or anything that you've heard from folks? I know this is pretty new, but got
Uh,
some.
I guess it's a similar in a similar fashion that customers have adopted the cloud intelligence dashboards to give them that deeper insight. It's what customers want for Azure as well, and Microsoft do offer different products. There are third-party products that do the same thing. This solution is something that you can build yourself and tailored to your specific needs. Every FinOps team that we speak to has a particular set of needs. They're interested in very specific costs and things that they need to highlight on a daily basis. So I guess, and I'll bring up the dashboard now. This is in QuickSight itself. Um, the good thing about it is you can customize all of these different visuals. You can create your own visuals to show you exactly what you need. So yeah, this is kind of what it looks like at the moment. We didn't spend too much time trying to create the most awesome, amazing view of your Azure costs. Probably for like obvious reasons. We focus on the AWS costs, obviously, but we did want to empower our customers to be able to produce something like this. So you can see here, we've got like a daily spend per day, accumulated costs, geographical spend. It does do multiple subscriptions as well. So you set it up once on the Azure end, and you can garner information from multiple accounts and subscriptions. And in fact, this next tab kind of dives into that, showing you multiple accounts and lots and lots and lots of different subscriptions per account there.
Awesome. Yeah, I think the CID framework in general is amazing and has really been a game changer for a lot of customers. But I think, at least in my experience, I see the most success with folks when they start using it as more of a starting point than something that they can just use out of the box and never touch. After folks get used to it, after they start playing around in QuickSight, I do see people doing a lot of customizations, building their own visuals. So hopefully this will allow folks to do the same thing with this kind of other data source. I think having exclusively AWS experience myself, it would take me a little bit of playing around to get it going. But if this is the data schema that you're used to looking at, I think it would likely be fairly intuitive, similar to QuickSight and the curve if you're used to that. This heat map is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I really like this view actually because, what's going on here on April the
Mm.
8th is something we should probably look at, right? So being able to drill into that and seeing which subscription has caused this blip and focusing in on those particular costs, we can go and speak to perhaps that subscription owner and find out what's happened there. I'll go to the last tab as well. Haven't quite got there yet, but yeah, this is a pretty cool. We kind of wanted to show, the sort of stuff that we can do with QuickSight, and I think yeah, some of these views are pretty cool.
Awesome. So I see there are a lot of subscriptions in there. And obviously, I mean, we're looking at a lot of different accounts and a lot of different resources. Is there any sort of configuration or additional configuration that customers need to do if there are changes to that? Or is it kind of more of just a one and done setup?
Yeah, so I think the thing about if I just bring back the workshop itself, we've tried to make that one of the things that I guess is a bit different from the cloud intelligence dashboards is we don't really have any control over the other end. We are beholden to Microsoft to produce a particular data schema, keep that data schema the same, and then it pumps it through the pipeline to expose the visualizations in QuickSight. But we've discovered that customers have a variety of different data sets. You have it on a per agreement basis. So there's kind of different Microsoft agreements, like an enterprise
Mhm.
agreement, a Microsoft customer agreement, a pay-as-you-go agreement, etc. So each one of those will have a different data schema. And also sometimes the schema does kind of change. It doesn't completely match the public released version. So what we've done, I don't know if this is the best place to show you actually. But what we've done here is, let me actually go into the dashboard itself. Let's have a look here. I'll have to actually start my. But if we have a look at like, where's a good place to show you? Troubleshooting. Here we go. So the main crux of it is, and if I flip back to the if I can get there, uh,
There you go.
yeah. So what we've done is try to make sure that any changes that happen are in AWS Glue. So
Got it.
Glue con contains a Python script, and within there, we've ensured that there's places where you can go off and change your schema. There's kind of examples here, for instance, of how you would. This is exactly the one I was looking for. So this is the mapping section. So let's say this is what we need it to be over here, billing period end date, but it might be lowercase b to start with
Mm.
on your end. So this kind of little section here within the Glue script allows you to make those mappings, and any other kind of transformation changes are all confined to this one area, which we thought would offer customers flexibility to change if the data schema changes on the Microsoft end.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So similar, the thing that pops into my mind immediately with the cost and usage report is if you enable a bunch of more tags, you get a bunch more columns. And I've seen people basically like try to map multiple tag columns together if you've got uppercase name and like name spelled wrong or something like that. So
Yeah.
similar situation here. Um, Quick highlight in the chat. Thanks for the comment, Rob. It seems like the FinOps Foundation is working to hopefully solve this or make it a little bit easier to standardize in the future. But it's really great that we have this available at the moment so that we can map all those things together as needed and let people transform the data in the way that works for them. Or
Yeah,
rename the
yeah.
columns if they want to, honestly. That's another thing that I've seen asked before. So,
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, you're completely right. We've been taking a look at the FinOps Foundation data model as well, which is amazing. It is something that we need, especially when customers are gravitating towards multi-cloud. Having that basic understanding of what a billing period end date is, or a cost unit, or quantity, etc., and creating that common data model, I think is very beneficial for customers. So yes, by all means, if you want to align this to the FinOps Foundation model, you can go off and change these column names over here, and that's something that we're looking at internally as well, how we can leverage the work that's being done there to make it easier for people to understand various cost units across multiple cloud providers.
awesome. All right, we got another one. Is there an executive view where you can see spend in AWS and Azure in the same tab? I know this is a pretty new solution, so I would love it if we already had that, but I know we're still trying to get everything integrated. So let's take a look.
Well, I just switched back to the dashboard, but no, there isn't, unfortunately. So yes, that is something that I think customers would benefit from, kind of an aggregated view of both cloud provider costs. Imagine if you could see, all your Azure costs and your AWS costs on the same dashboard. And obviously, there are third-party providers that do provide that at the moment, but they charge a pretty penny for that. Just to point out that this solution, you're looking at about $100 a month, so it's incredibly cheap. But yes, that is something that has been a super duper top ask from customers. So we can't promise anything yet, but it's something that we are looking at internally.
Will say too, and I'm digging for the link right now, but if this is something that folks really want, and if you are a customer out there that would really benefit from this, um, go ahead and go to the Cloud Intelligence Dashboard homepage. You can find it in Well Architected Labs. We've got the link in the chat there as well. Next to every one of the dashboards, we do have a feedback link, and we take customer feedback very seriously, and it really helps us kind of motivate what we build next. So if this is the top need for you, go ahead, drop it in there, tell us, let us know, and it'll kind of help us continue to make these products better for you.
Yeah, and thanks, Rob, for reminding me of the name of the common data platform that the FinOps org has come up with, Focus. I was trying to search for it while I was talking about it, so thank you.
Awesome.
I guess, yeah, the other thing, like you say, Savannah, feedback is incredibly important to us. And I'm flipping around these tabs here, but if we go back to the workshop, just on the front page here, obviously, if you do have any feedback about this particular solution, then there is an email link just over here. So yeah, feel free to drop us an email and tell us what you think works, what doesn't work, more importantly, and how we can improve it.
Um, all right, shifting gears a little bit. I've got tags in my brain since I was thinking of those columns in the curve. Can we take a look at the dashboard again? Is there a place for tag data there? How do some of these drill downs work? This is partially personal curiosity because I'm so used to looking at the curve that all of this is new to me.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, we don't have any here at the moment, but yes, you can specify tags, and you can create visuals based on tags. I'll show you how that works from a deployment perspective in a minute, but we do have some tags in this um, rather simple data set. Let's try and create a visual. This is a bit nerve-wracking, but anyway, let's give it a go. So let's create a new visual down here. Add a visual, and let's just make it a pie chart. And then the main cost unit is cost in billing currency over here. Drag that in, and if I scroll a little bit further down, you'll start to see that there are some tags.
There we
So,
go.
so, so these are tags that you specify during deployment, because obviously we don't know what the tags are in the Azure win. They could be anything at all. And I'll take you through how that's done if we do have time quickly. But you specify what tags you're interested in when you're deploying the solution, and they appear as separate columns. So if we take tag environment, let's say, into here, let's see. Yeah, see our guys are over on the Azure end haven't been incredibly
Not a
good
lot of compliance
with
there.
with tagging. So let's exclude null, and we might see something a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So
There we go.
yeah. Yeah. So yes, it is possible, and it's completely up to you how you do that. Shall I show quickly how it? Oh no, I can't actually. But it's really simple. The way you deploy the solution, there's two ways. It's either in CloudFormation or using Terraform, and both of those options are in the workshop setup guide. But when you're going through the CloudFormation parameters, there'll be a specific field for what tags do you want the Azure end, and then you just type them in, and these columns will just magically appear.
We love that. I was gonna say with all those nulls in there, it looks like my internal AWS account, so I can't really judge.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Awesome.
I suppose the other thing to mention is, yeah, this is all backed by a GitHub repo. So you can get there straight from the blog post. You'll be
Oh,
directed to the
cool.
workshop, but all the code is available in GitHub as well. You can see the blob copy solution that I've mentioned previously as well. But within the Cloud Intelligence dashboard directory, you'll see that we've got CloudFormation and Terraform as well.
Oh, awesome. So people can kind of choose their own adventure a little bit. That's nice.
Yeah.
I know on the kind of blog post and solution main page, it said that deployment usually takes an hour or two. I know when I've deployed the CIDs with my customers or internally, usually the big gotcha is security points. It takes 2 seconds unless you don't have the right security, and then it is a little bit more involved trying to get that sorted out before you can deploy. Are there any gotchas that people should be aware of here, or any common snags that people run into?
Yeah, so you do need to have particular prerequisites, and they're detailed right on the front page, so you're aware of them from the get-go. So obviously you need an AWS account, a QuickSight account, etc. I won't go through all of these, but I suppose that the gotcha is usually you have to interface with perhaps another team to set up the Azure end. We don't detail exactly step by step what you need to do, but there's particular permissions that you'll need and you'll need to set up an enterprise app. It's the authentication mechanism that we use. The data, when it's pulled across from Azure, is over HTTPS, and it's authenticated as well. So
Awesome.
yeah, just on the front page for everything that you need.
Yeah, good. Go through the security checkpoint before you start clicking buttons. Otherwise, you're going to get some errors.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. All right. So when it comes to kind of filtering, looking at the data, all of the newness here, I'm conscious that we're coming to the end of our time. What is kind of the biggest takeaway that you want folks to have, and what are you most excited about with this new solution?
Well, I guess for me, it's just like being able to empower customers to use the same BI tool set to take a look at another cloud provider's costs. So it's something that I think will empower FinOps teams. FinOps teams are normally, you know, that they've got a lot of work to do. It's a huge topic, cost optimization, and often they're struggling with resources. So having to know um, 2 or 3 or 4 different BI tools, if you can consolidate onto one to view your cloud costs in another provider, it might actually help you out. The great thing about this solution is, like most AWS solutions, you can pick it up, try it out. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. It's not going to cost you much. But hopefully people will take it away and say, wow, okay, I can build on this. This isn't a service that we're selling. There is no ongoing cost to this. There's also no SLA for this, I should mention. It's just a way to use AWS services to fulfill a particular business need. And we've had absolutely dozens of customers that have asked for this over the last couple of years, and really glad that it's kind of finally here. And we have customers using it, and customers that are very happy with it. I guess kind of the next steps, one of them's kind of been alluded to. No promises there just
We
yet.
got
But
we got Rob
aggregate.
in the chat asking the hard questions.
Oh,
When
what did
is
he say?
GCP coming?
Yeah, yeah. So
Stay
no,
tuned.
no, yeah, I think stay tuned is the answer there. Yeah. But yeah, obviously we know that that is the direction that customers would like to go in. So yeah, we don't like to disappoint. So let's see what happens. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it, really, I guess. Really had a lot of fun working on this. We worked particularly closely with lots of customers to build this. It was a customer ask from the start, and lots of testing went into this. We worked with a company called EMIS Healthcare. They've offered a quote in the blog as well, so have a read of that. But they were absolutely amazing in terms of helping us develop this solution.
Awesome. So Rob, if you're out there and you want to help with the solution that you want to see, check out that feedback link that we have in the blog, and perhaps you could help make your own dreams come true.
Awesome.
All right. Any closing thoughts? We got 2 minutes left. I know from my perspective, as you've kind of alluded to, getting developers or folks who aren't in the FinOps focus every single day, or are kind of slower on the uptick of looking at these tools to look at one cost management platform can be hard enough. So asking them to look at two if they're multi-cloud is double the ask. I think that's be a really nice solution, or at least kind of like a path to get folks into a unified platform that they're comfortable with. Fewer places to look is always great, and we love that single pane of glass view. Hopefully customers are excited about this. I know it's still fairly new, but we're seeing some adoption for sure. And if you do have questions about the CID and are headed to reInvent, we've got a lot of folks there. Any last plugs you want to make, Mo?
I guess just a big thanks to the rest of the Cloud Intelligence Dashboard team. So Yuri, Yakov, Anton, Chris Schoening. It's been an immense effort, and we're really hoping that you guys enjoy it. It's definitely something that customers have been asking for, and we're glad to have delivered it.
Awesome. All right. Thanks so much for coming on. And if you've got any further questions, you can always reach out to us at costoptimization@amazon.com. Have a good one.
Thanks all. Bye.